There's another one you don't want to hear. Frankly, if you want.
1, 2, 3, set, go.
Hello and welcome to the Power Chord Hour podcast, episode 51. How are you doing out there? Thank you so much for checking out another episode. And as always, I'm your host, Anthony Merchant, here with you. And hopefully you've been enjoying the few episodes of the new year. Hopefully your new year is going well so far. You know, it's no longer 2020, but at the same time, it's like, you know, nothing magically disappeared. We're still going through the shit, but, you know, new year. And hopefully it's going well so far, you know, and hopefully there's a light at the end of the tunnel later on in here. And I don't know, in a weird way, I hope it doesn't go by. That's kind of weird to say because I guess it's better that last year didn't like drag on, but like still, there's a part of me that's like, I hope the year doesn't fly by too fast because even though last year was like, you know, kind of lost on us in a lot of ways from, you know, just with the pandemic and everything, it still just went by so fast that like even just doing things, even like doing this show, like it would be like, oh, I should hit up so-and-so because their album's coming out soon. And it's like, you know, if I would forget to hit someone up to come be a guest or something, like all of a sudden I look and it's like, oh, that album got released like a month ago, you know, like I just feel like time was like slipping by very fast. Hopefully this year slows down a little and hopefully COVID goes the fuck away. Just one day we all wake up and it reared its ugly ass face somewhere else off planet Earth, and we can get back to normal. But until then, you have this podcast to you know, I guess kind of think of something, you know, to get your mind off of all the shitty things in the world. I'm here to bring your mind to shitty music opinions. So, you know, a topic that's still shitty, much like the coronavirus, but it's a different thing. You know, no one's dying because their favorite Alkaline Trio record isn't the one that most people would say is their best. So, you know, this is part 2 of Shitty Music Opinions with my buddy Kyle Steven and Zach Gorszewski, both in Illinois in different parts. Kyle, I forget exactly where he's at, but like a suburb of Chicago. And then Zach is in Springfield, Illinois. And I've been to Zach's place before. He is like a half mile. Not even a half mile. He's like 4 blocks off of Route 66, which is a fun fact. Only for me because, and I guess if you're a Route 66 fan and you're listening to this, because I don't think he knew nor did he give a shit when I even was like, oh, dude, like you live on Route 66. And the whole time, the only time we really got to hang out in person, he's just like Kyle, where I mean, we've been buddies for years online, but you know, last like year or two, you know, really talking on the phone and you know, just kind of being more, you know, bringing our friendship, you know, closer than just talking online, I guess, you know, or like you know, more than just social media buddies or whatever. But anyway, yeah, stop there while traveling Route 66. And I got a kick out of it, and I don't think he. But that's the thing, though. Like I live here. Here's the thing with that, and then we'll get into this episode. But like a lot of times, I'll be traveling somewhere, and you get in your head, you'll get somewhere, and you'll be like, oh my God, like I can't imagine living here and like seeing this every day. You know, whether it's, I mean, maybe you live in the Dakotas and you live near the Badlands, or, you know, I mean, in Utah, there's so many places that are just, you know, canyons and these, you know, or mountains around you and stuff. There's all these different places and whatever it is, or down in Arizona, you know, and you have like the Grand Canyon or the Petrified Forest, you know, but like whatever it is, you travel somewhere and you kind of go like, oh my God, like I can't imagine if I lived here and I saw this every day. But the thing is when you live in that place, you really, after a while, it just kind of becomes a thing. And what I never thought of that for a long time, and at some point it clicked with me with Niagara Falls, because I live here in Western New York. And when I say New York, a lot of people think New York City. I'm like 7-8 hours away from New York City. I can be in Pennsylvania in like 10 minutes. So yeah, I'm in a different part. I'm in a different part of the state. But anyway, but I live like from the American side of Niagara Falls, I live like an hour and 40 minutes away, in the Canadian side, like 2 hours away. And like, that's a thing that people go out of their way to go see. And it's like, it's just such a big, it's a landmark, it's a, maybe it's not a landmark. I don't know if that's, I don't know if Niagara Falls is considered a landmark, but I think you know what I'm talking about. And it's like, yes, that's there. And I mean, I could drive there once a week and see Niagara Falls if I wanted to. But just like anything else, just like if you live 4 blocks from the Space Needle in Seattle, after a while, it's just kind of a thing. I mean, the Space Needle is about as, I'm sure precious or special to you as a McDonald's that's across the street, from the Space Needle. So, it's kind of one of those things. So like in Zach's defense there, when I was like kind of going through like Route 66 and like realizing he didn't really give a shit that he lived in, on a section of Route 66. I guess you just kind of do that no matter where you're at. Lucille Ball, also where I'm from here, Jamestown, New York, birthplace of Lucille Ball, and still, while very cool, it's not like you spend every waking moment, like thinking of Lucy or going and seeing Lucy landmarks or like going to the museum and seeing the props and, like things like that. Like, I mean, yeah, they're cool, you get a kick out of it. But it's like when you live somewhere, you eventually you just don't give a shit about that stuff. You start taking it for granted. But yeah, whatever. That is my little diatribe here in the beginning. But I did just want to say as well, before we get into this episode, and then I'll shut the hell up. You can hear me, Zach, and Kyle just talk about our terrible, terrible music opinions more. This is just so much fun. I love having these guys on, just 3 buddies talking music. But I did just want to tell you real quick, this is our last podcast for a couple weeks. I'm going to be doing a little winter break here and just taking the next couple weeks off. But we'll be back. Don't worry. It will be pretty short-lived. I mean, we'll be back in February here with new episodes. So, I mean, really just the next couple weeks. But no new podcast or radio show. I'm sure I'll be bullshitting on our social media. So don't forget, at Power Chord Hour for Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. That can be your fill of Power Chord Hour here for the next few weeks. But I did just want to tell you that before we go in, so like you're not looking here the next few weeks going like, where the hell's the show? Like, did he just stop doing the show? Because I'm fairly good. I mean, we take breaks here and there, but normally like a week at a time. So I wanted to make sure not just leave people hanging like, where's the show this week? So yeah, so this will be the last one for a couple weeks, and I'll be back from winter break better than ever, and we'll keep it going here. And and got to get some we're at the beginning of a year again, though. It's probably going to be different this year because the beginning of the years normally for music are kind of slow, but with everything still going on, it may be different this year. We may actually be getting a lot of music, including from bands who there were people at like the beginning of this last year in like March, like a year ago, who didn't want to release music during a pandemic because they're like, well, I don't know, it seems like it won't take attention or or won't get attention or whatever. But now a year later, they're probably like, well, we better like just fucking release this. So we may get that. Who knows? But anyway, here is Unpopular Music Opinions Part 2 with Kyle Stevens, Zach Gorszewski, and your dude here, Anthony Merchant. Enjoy it. Here it is on the Power Chord Hour podcast. How about you? I guess we should probably go with you next. Kyle, you want to bring up one of yours?
Let's see here. I don't know if I should attack a band or go after something in music in general again.
Ooh.
You know what? I'll say this because I kind of referenced it off the air when like we were first talking about this, you and I, after the Boxcar Racer episode. I asked you just what you thought of a particular band, if you remember who it was.
No, I don't.
Then perfect, because this is going to be great for me because I don't have a lot to say about them because I'm not a master of their discography. I've heard like their hits and I don't think there's any appeal to them whatsoever. Say Anything blows.
Oh, I do remember you bringing them up. Yeah, you know
but
what?
I didn't say my opinion. I just brought up the name.
Yeah, because we were talking about it because Max Bemis fucking blocked me on Twitter like 8 years ago, and I still don't know why. I agree after the first 2 records.
Say great lyrics, bad music.
You know what? That's
It's
not.
all
You know
bad. It's all
what?
bad.
That's not
No,
a bad one
amazing
either.
lyrics. He's an amazing lyricist.
He is a good. He is a
but
good
horrible
lyricist.
musician. Amazing lyricist, horrible musician.
Well, the thing with the musician thing, though, too, I would say is he just does stupid shit on the later stuff. Like doing an album with 0 guitars is just stupid. Like, why would you do like we're doing this?
I didn't even hear that.
Yeah, we're doing this thing like it's trying to be this avant-garde, or like he like would quote like Kanye West's like influence on it. It's like, but you're a rock band. Like, yeah, like yes, you can do it. Like you can replace the guitar with synth, but it doesn't mean you should. It sounds like shit. Like, you know, like some of the stuff he just started trading in, trying to be artsy and different instead of making good songs. You know what I mean? It's like just being
You can
different
do both,
to be
though.
different. Yeah, you can, but he wasn't doing both. Like
You can explore art and still make better music.
yeah, sure, but he wasn't. But like Is a Real Boy is a great fucking record. In Defense of the Genre is an okay record. Say Anything, the self-titled, the next one is there's like half of it's okay, and then after that it's it's just
Hate
dumb.
Everyone's a decent song.
Yeah, like the first half of that record's good, and then the other half I don't even remember. I don't remember anything after like track 7. It's very forgettable. But before it's good, and even some of the early like pop punk shit, like the Is a Real Boy. There's even some good shit scattered through there. But overall, I agree with you. I think it's very overrated, and Max Bemis as an artist overall is extremely fucking overrated.
Yeah, like when Say Anything like blew up with Is a Real Boy, and that fucking it's their biggest song. I don't know what it is.
Wow, I Can Get Sexual Too.
That fucking song. I heard that song and I immediately was like, why do people like this? There's nothing good. Like there's no good melodies, there's no good hooks. Like the music is plain, the lyrics sound so uninspired.
I still like that song.
I love that song, man.
I still fuck with that song. I'll still listen to it.
It's hilarious, dude. It's great. I'll blast that shit hard, too.
It's really not. But, like...
And it has a melody, bro. I called her on the phone, and she touched your mom.
Yeah, I guess that's a melody.
See, I like it because it showcases, I think, what I like... Actually, what I thought Say Anything was good at is it's like... It's a raunchy kind of edgy song, but not so far that it's cheesy. Like it's this really sarcastic. It's a sarcastic song. It's very like it kind of really does highlight most of the things that made that whole record really good. Which is funny because it's actually a bonus track. That song's not even originally on that album. It came out on a re-release. That's not originally on it. It's on a bonus disc.
That's wild.
Yeah, the original pressing of that didn't have that song at all. It's kind of like with Finch with What It Is to Burn. Like that song was originally a bonus track. It's not really a title. It's not actually a like fucking studio track on that album. It's just a bonus song.
And I would want to say this, not like saying like what my other opinions are on other things that I have on my list, but a lot of like the band ones, I don't have a lot of experience on portions of their discography because I just stopped liking it because it just didn't sound good in my ears. I can
get that. Like, why would you? Why would you keep paying attention?
Yeah, why would I put myself through something if I don't like what I've heard? So to Say Anything, when I heard that song, I was just like, there's nothing appealing about it to me. So people would try to play me other songs, and there was nothing there for me. So like I couldn't tell you names of songs or lyrics or anything like that because none of it sounded good enough for me to quote unquote good enough. It just didn't sound good to me for me to remember it.
Yeah.
And just to skim past this one really quick because I want to get it out. When it comes to like bands that I do listen to that I stopped listening to because I thought they started sucking, like everything that Brand New put after Deja and Tendu is super forgettable.
I completely agree.
Yeah, and like most people, at least in my area, love, the Devil and God Raging Inside Me and Daisy. They love
it's
those
shitty
records.
indie rock. It's really shitty fucking music.
People still like that in your area? Like people still support
those are like the Brand New records. out
Brand
here.
Dude,
New's a weird
I
band.
love Your Favorite Weapon, dude, but like I don't support
Dude,
Jesse
they're a
Lacey
weird
anymore.
band because they're canceled.
I don't listen to Brand New. Yeah,
They're-
I don't listen to Brand New.
Well, no.
Because of that reason. That's fucked up. Yeah, I don't.
No, I
don't know.
get that. I'm agreeing with you, but I'm saying they're a weird band because they're canceled, but at the same time, a lot of people still openly. It's very weird. A lot of people openly listen to them.
When I listen to Your Favorite Weapon, I don't listen to it on Spotify because I don't want people knowing I'm listening to it. I like listen to it on YouTube because I'm like ashamed of it.
Yeah, but people still post like shit on Insta. Like if you go look up the hashtag, like people are still like listening and posting lyrics and shit. Like it's the weirdest thing because they're canceled, but they're not canceled. And I'm with like I don't play them on the radio show anymore. I stopped playing. I'm not disagreeing with you, but I'm saying there's people who still like listen to them and support them and shit. It's very odd.
I know.
At least in my area and like my circle of like punk rock, pop punk, emo kids or whatever that I'm associated with, I don't know if they still listen to them outwardly or post about them. But at that time, like when Devil and God and Daisy came out, those were like peak Brand New like records for those people. Where I would be like, oh man, Your Favorite Weapon and even Dejan Tendu, they're better stuff. And they're like, no, that was like terrible back then. Like that was corny. I'm like, no, like to me, Your Favorite Weapon was like perfect at the time. Like Daisy and your like Devil and God got really boring and uninspired, and it took the boring parts of Dejan Tendu and then they like amplified it to 10. Like they just made more boring songs. And so I don't know if those people are still listening to those songs. Like I don't see them posting about it, but that was like when those were out, everyone was talking about it for the longest time. But with Say Anything, it's just a band that I never associated with because I just thought it was all garbage and everyone loved it. And it just didn't make sense to me why anyone liked it. And so that's just, I wanted to throw Brand New.
The lyrics, man.
I guess, if you want to say that.
That's the only reason. The music's ass, but the guy's like popping off in the lyrics.
Yeah.
Like he's like just saying things that you wouldn't even fucking think of to say. He's just like, I saw some cats fighting in the alleyway. It's just like, what? Like, dude, this guy's just like, he's very profound in his lyrics. Like that guy, his lyrics actually do hold up, but the music is very bad.
Did he actually sing those words, cats fighting in an alleyway?
Yeah,
like,
is that a direct line?
It's like cat. I watched the cats like scratch. It's the Red Cat Slash song. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Oh, I actually think I do. Yeah, I think I do actually.
And he's talking about these alley cats, like fighting.
That's a bad example because
like,
that song's stupid.
No, dude, that song.
It's a terrible example. Song's really fucking shitty.
I don't know. Every Man Has a Molly is fucking hilarious. He's like,
that's a good song.
You guys, I'm so glad you started supporting my band and buying the merch so I can stop having rough sex with my abusive girlfriend. That's basically the lyric. And you're like, what? That's awesome. Like, I'm going to listen to it.
Well,
more.
like the way he breaks the fourth wall and shit. Like, again, like there's a cleverness.
It's awesome.
His lyrics on, like, Is a Real Boy and shit, like, that's the thing is he lost the cleverness. Like even there was a time where he like literally proclaimed and did like a press release like I'm no longer going to swear on Say Anything records. And then he did a new one where he's like now I'm going to swear on them again. And it's like, dude, who gives a shit? Swear or don't swear? Like he became very kind of, I think, in his own head. Like in a lot of ways, I think his own success got to him. Like the cult following that album got, and I don't think ever being able to really follow it up. It's like, I just don't. And some people disagree. There are people who love shit post Is a Real Boy. And once again, I think there's good songs later on, but like he never outdid what he did on Is a Real Boy. Like that was his genius. Like that was his masterpiece. And he definitely never
it definitely
was.
That's why the album's like 30 tracks too. If like you put like all the songs that were originally intended for it, like all the deluxe songs for it, Like
Yeah.
the album was like large. That was like a large body.
And
of
it's
work.
all good though. Like it's a long record and
Yeah.
you don't even realize it. Like I used to listen to that record a fuck ton in college, and I just remember I'd listen to it in between classes in the library. It'd be like fucking all of a sudden, like the whole time I'd be waiting, it's like, oh God, it's time to leave already. Like the album would just fly by.
Yeah,
Sure.
it's a long record though.
No, it is. It's extremely long. I mean, I think it's almost 90 minutes. If I'm remembering
Jesus,
correctly.
too much.
Well, because it is. It's like a whole second bonus disc. Yeah, that does sound. If you don't like that album already, Kyle, that has to sound terrible. Like yeah, there's a whole second disc. But moving on,
If I
I
wanted
mean,
music that lasted that long, it would be I would listen to that 3 album deal that Early November did.
oh hell yeah, the Mother Mechanic
Room's
and
Too
the Path.
Cold's the best.
Fuck yeah, I ain't talking. I like Early November. I can fuck with that shit.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. I mean, we're already fucking 2.5 hours in here, so I would say we'll do just a few more each. So, Zach, what'd you say, dude?
I was going to say, or do you want to rapid fire through like just our randoms and just see what happens?
You know what?
Really
That's
quick.
it. You know
We
what?
should do that. That's a
you
good
guys,
idea.
You guys want to do that instead? We'll just kind of throw them out there. Zach, you can fucking kick it off, dude. Throw them out. We'll throw shit at you and throw shit at us, and we'll throw shit at you.
Maroon 5's first album is amazing.
I don't totally disagree. It's not. I wouldn't use the word amazing, but I would say most, like all their other records are dog shit, and that one's not dog shit.
No, dude, it's like within my top. Like it's like comparable to like the top albums like I listen to. I'm not gonna compare them to the Beatles because that'd be super fucked up. But like, I listen to Abbey Road all the way through. I listen to Enema State all the way through. I listen to Songs About Jane all the way through. I listen to Take Off Your Pants and Jacket all the way through. You know what I mean? So like, Songs About Jane
Yeah,
is an amazing album.
Like I said, the best you're gonna get out of me is that it's not a bad album. I won't say it's amazing, but I will say it, like including compared to their later shit. Like, and I guess if you're comparing it to later shit, it is amazing. But I mean, dog shit is amazing to fucking moves like Jagger and any of the other later stuff. Kara's Flowers had fucking a couple good songs. I mean, like, they weren't terrible, but they were not very good.
They're not good. They're like barbershop quartet. That shit was weird. Songs
Kyle,
About Jane.
Kyle, I assume you agree with me. You can't be a Maroon 5 fan.
I know of their hits.
And do you think they're shitty? I'm
they're
bullying
all
you
about-
into saying they're
They're
shitty.
all about fucking chicks, man. That's all I ever hear, like from their singles. It's like
They are a very horny band. They are an extremely horny band. You are right about that.
They are. Dude, in that first album is like super horny because he's like singing about an ex-girlfriend that like left him, but he's like obsessed with, but he still like is lusting after. Like there's very lustful lyrics on that first album in particular, you know. But it's a good album.
Okay. Before I don't want to be your friend anymore, how about another one?
Kids in the Street is the best All-American Rejects album.
Oh, I totally disagree with that. Here's what I'll say though. It's
the best
most
sound for them.
Interesting. I think it's their most interesting where they took chances. And I think if you look at it from a perspective of that, I can respect that and go, oh, they took chances and did different shit. And I don't think it was terrible, but I don't think it was their best. Like, if I want to listen to an All-American Rejects record, that's not the one I'm going to listen to.
If I'm being honest, their best shit, referring to the All-American Rejects, the All-American Rejects' best material is the stuff that they're piecing out in singles, like, these days.
Oh, I totally disagree. I have not liked any of the shit they've put out the last year or so. I've not liked one song.
It's the best. I feel like
if it's pop, and you know what though? But this is the thing: is I'm not even going to totally discredit it. If it's, I don't really like just straight up pop music. As far as just writing pop music, they are good at it. Those are good. Just
I love
straight
pop
up pop
music.
That's the thing. If you just want straight up pop songs, they're not bad, but I don't like just straight up. I don't like listening to that. So It's not my thing, and that's not what I want out of them. Now, see, here's the other thing, though. My favorite thing's their first record, and it's very poppy, but it's poppy in a different way. It's not current day top 40 pop. It's just a pop record in general. It has hooks. It's very melodic,
You know, like Time Is Standing Still, that weird like drum intro that's like duh, duh, duh,
Yeah.
duh, duh.
Yeah.
That is very similar to this. Like, they have a new song that, mind you, the lyrics are kind of cringe, but it's cringe in a way. They wrote it for a Blink-182 tour, which is the song DGAF, Don't Give a Fuck. But that song is like, it sounds like Gives You Hell. It sounds like the first album, but like with weirder, cringy lyrics. They're supposed to be like, they're trying to be making fun of something, but I don't think anyone realizes that they're making fun of something. So they think that they're singing about themselves, which they're not. They're trying to be ironic, but I don't think anyone gets the irony.
Well, people don't realize that there is a talent in like what Blink does. Like, you can't, like, a lot of people who try to do that fail miserably, and it's just stupid and unfunny.
Funny songs, yeah,
like it just
American
comes
Rejects
off
were
stupid.
trying to be funny with that song.
Yeah, they
like,
can't pull
they
that
wrote
off.
That for the. Yeah, but neither can anyone else. Have you heard A Day to Remember try to be funny? It's fucking awful.
You know what it makes me think of? There's a Warped
Or All
Tour.
Time Low. All Time Low is fucking stupid.
I actually have they're on my list, but one like this, there's like for the Warped Tour 15th anniversary from like 2010, there was this performance and they did the Decadence All-Stars, and it was like Brendan
Pete
Urie.
Wentz and Brendan Urie,
Yeah, that. And they did Damn It, and like Brendan Urie a couple times tries to alter the lyrics and make them funny, and they're just not. It's so cheesy and painfully
unfunny. Not funny at all.
That's what I'm
He's
saying.
The cheesiest person
You can't.
in the world.
But this is what I'm trying to say is
I'm cheesier than him.
is that Blink? Yes, they're funny and juvenile, but they're good at it. It's not that they just say penis, fart, dick. There's more to it. And when people don't realize that and they try doing it, it's like, oh my God, like this is terrible.
It's because they're quick-witted. People don't realize
they're very
Blink is quick-witted. And you can't just be like, ha, you tooted or something, and like think it's like genius.
Well, to take it
you
back
have to be quick-witted.
To take it back to Brendan Urie for a second too, I saw Blink and Panic at the Disco on the 2009 reunion tour, and Brendan Urie said everything verbatim in between songs every time. Every single time he said the same exact things in between songs every time I saw them. Whereas Blink, it's a different, every night was different dick jokes. It was something different every time. I think one of them, Tom was talking about fucking Oprah. Another one, he's like talking about the movie Seabiscuit. Like, it was different every time. Like, they're quick-witted and off the cuff, whereas Brendan Urie scripted what the fuck he said in between every single song.
I don't mean to crush your dreams, Anthony, but I also went to the 2009 tour, and me and my dad to this day, because he took me when I was like a little kid, me and my dad to this day, our favorite quote is, "I'm going to go down on Oprah." So, like, he might have recycled
Oh,
that.
he might have, yeah. Well, no, I think he talked about fucking Oprah a couple times, but I mean, I'm just saying it was different.
It was like, but it was hilarious when you first heard it. You were like, "Oh my God, that's amazing!"
Oh
like,
yeah, no,
13,
fuck yeah.
I was like 13, and I was like, dude, me and my dad still talk about it when we think about that concert. That's like one of the things we say. I'm gonna go down on Oprah.
Oh hell yeah,
like,
dude.
Dude. Like they're cool. They're good at being funny. It's hard actually to be funny, like as like a person in general. Like you always don't want to just be like a sad, morose person. You want to have humor in your life. It's difficult to get a laugh out of someone, like, or it really takes a talent to get genuine like laughs from people.
Yeah. No, you're right. It is. It's a talent. It's definitely a talent in it. But
yeah. And let me see. I'm gonna say One more.
Yeah, go ahead, shoot off.
Boxcar Racer is better than Plus 44. And then lastly, Park. There's this band called Park, and they were from my hometown. They did not like take off as much as they should have, but they toured with like the Starting Line and Yellow Card, and like this album that they released in 2003 called It Won't Snow Where You're Going, I feel like is one of the most critically underrated albums of 2003. Like, I think that like that band from my hometown like should have like, because they recorded that album in like Los Angeles, like they were like on TRL and stuff. They actually are on that like Pacific Coast album where it's all the tribute to Blink 182. They do the Obvious song.
Oh yeah,
I don't know if
yeah,
you
I know
guys-
that. I know that album.
Yeah, and it's like white, and it has like the take off your pants and jacket like picture of Blink 182 like that. Anyways, that band is critically underrated, and they should have took off, but they didn't. I feel like they did to an extent, but like not like All Time Low did. All Time Low was also on that album.
No, that doesn't seem too unpopular of opinion. I mean, I've heard a couple Park songs that you've sent me, and I mean, they're not bad. I think they should have been bigger than they were. But then at the same time, it's hard for me to say best band of that era, because then I would think of a band like Knockout, and I would say a band like Knockout should have been bigger than they were. You know, like shit like that. So it's like, I don't know. I mean, I kind of agree with you. The Boxcar Racer thing, I don't know. I fairly agree. I guess I have to think about it, but you may not be wrong about Boxcar Racer being better than Plus 44. I would have to think about it, but I'm not going to disagree with you because you may actually be right. What do you think about that, Kyle? I'd like to know what you think on that one.
Well, I'll say this. He's totally right, but also what we kind of discussed, I don't know if this is in the part 2 side B of Boxcar or not that we talked about, but commercially we were talking about it, that Plus 44 technically sold and like distributed a lot better than Boxcar did.
That's right. Yeah, you're right. Which is so weird.
Maybe it's the time in which those bands came out and just how things happened with Blink around that time, like those times. But yeah, Zach, we talked about it for a second. Plus 44 actually sold better than Boxcar did at their given times.
Yeah, but Boxcar was like a rush project. It came in between after Take Off Your Pants and Jacket came out, then like time. It was just like really rushed.
Oh no, definitely. But still, surprisingly, like Boxcar has way of a more cult following than Plus 44 does. Like I hear like way more people talk about Boxcar than Plus 44, and they came out years apart. And even on Spotify, even it's like, you know, it's not totally accurate as far as like date wise for the bands, but Plus 44 has more monthly listeners by like, I think it was like 15,000.
Yeah, it was quite a bit.
Yeah. It was, let's see here. I have the notes literally right next to me.
You got the stats, bro. You got the facts.
When your heart stops beating, like just, the records. Plus 44 has 415,000 listeners monthly. Boxcar has 374 monthly listeners.
Huh. Interesting.
And When Your Heart Stops Beating has like pretty much like 15 million more listens than I Feel So, and 10 million more listens than There Is.
Wow.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is interesting.
Yeah.
So, I guess I've always just like leaned towards Tom songs, obviously, but you guys know that. My last thing before I'm just gonna shut up forever. I forgot. I looked over this one, and this was honestly the most important one that I should have said. Pop punk fans are like pretty awful.
No, I 100% agree with that. I 100% agree with that.
Like have you ever seen them at shows? They're violent. They try to hurt like people and kids. Like they're disrespectful, and they're like creepy in the way as we've seen like some of our heroes come out, not and like they're fucked up people, and like even people at shows. I know I've heard like so many people come out in stories like, I got raped at Warped Tour or something. It's just like, what? Like that should not be happening.
Oh
you
yeah,
know?
definitely not the best ethics in the scene a lot of times.
No. But like that's just with anything too. Like rap is obviously really bad too, and like rock has always had like really bad ethics. But it's just like there's just like a stereotype pop punk person that's just like the shitty dude that like goes to the shows and is just shitty and like hates on kids, and like when there's moshing like goes out of their way to like bump kids on the head on purpose. Like that's fucked, dude. Or like grabbing at girls like boobs and shit. That's fucked.
There's another side of it
happens.
though that I don't like, that I didn't like at like a young age, but like I think you see it more when something gets big, and this is where I started dropping off with like new pop punk bands. Like we were talking about, like when I got really into like Man Overboard and the Wonder Years and shit. I think like around 2014, 2015, I started dropping off because like you'd go to shows, and I remember going to like the Pure Noise tour, and it's like you get this idea where it's like they talk about how the scene is so open and it's for everybody, and you know it's inclusive and stuff. And then you get there and you get this idea where everyone's judging everyone, and if you're not wearing the cool band shirt and like the cool fucking snapback or like whatever merch piece it is, like fuck you, like very like elitist and like very much like opposite of what they pretend they are. Like
it's
not
a very
welcoming.
Contradictory thing.
Yeah, not and you would go to those shows and like there's certain bands where like you go make friends. Like I've went and seen Tommy Stinson from the Replacements, and I've left shows making literally like 4 like legit friends, like who you actually go hang out and do things with. Like there's certain artists and genres where you can make friends going to shows, and like
dude,
pop punk at one point, you would go to their shows, you fucking make friends. Like people were fucking assholes. Like they're just fucking judgmental fucks. Like it was not a place to go meet new people at all.
Dude, no, I totally agree. All those kids at those shows, they would just like eye you down and try to like hurt you in the mosh pit.
That
but
too,
I'll tell you
very
this,
violent.
dude, very violent. But I'll tell you this, I went and saw, I know you probably don't like him as much, but Rustin Kelly, he's branding himself as dirty emo. It's kind of more of an alternative approach on country music. Anyways, I went to one of his concerts last year, and I was like standing up in the front by like this like older couple. It was a pretty packed like small room. And anyways, they got one of his guitar picks and they wanted to give it to me. They were like,
sick.
Here. They were like, here. And I was like, what? They're like, you're having such a good time. Like, we just wanted to give this to you. And I was like, what? I was like, okay.
That's
like,
dope.
I still have it. Like, but it was just like, it was just really nice and genuine. And like, I'd never really felt that at a Story So Far show. And I went to like 5 of their shows between
those crowds are fucking, those crowds were fucking
But
assholes.
they're insane though. But they're insane, but they're violent and assholes. But like those crowds, if you watch those videos of like, I guess like the early shows up until like when they ever started using the barricade for the fans. But I caught like their shows right before they started doing the barricade, and where it was just like the stage and the fans. And like those shows were crazy because I feel like kids just went to those shows to jump on people and hurt people. All it was like, I just wanted to stand there and hear the music.
Old. It got fucking
old.
It
got old, dude. It was just like not.
That's what I mean. It got to a point where those shows weren't fun anymore because you would go, and for every
and that's
band,
why they got the barricade though. So now it's not like.
But like
that.
every band would be like that.
Music.
You'd go see Man Overboard, and it would be a very poppy song about like a girl, and people are like fucking head walking and shit. Like, relax,
dude. I hate that.
Like, chill the fuck out.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That just proves my point. Pop punk fans are awful.
Yeah.
Like in general, like let's just like as pop punk fans, all three of us, like let's just try to.
But also anyone
like,
who
disprove
attaches
that.
normally someone who attaches themselves to a genre specific like that is like if you're someone who was like
Well,
pop
like,
punk
if
and
you-
pizza and like this that, but it's like that's your identity and that's all you were. It's like you're probably a fucking asshole.
Yeah, but like it's different. I mean, I love genres. I like not to think about genres because I think better music spawns from not thinking about genres. But
Well, that's what I'm saying. These are people who wouldn't listen to anything that isn't fucking
But-
like on Pure Noise Records.
yeah, but I like to go out of my way and like when I'm writing something or like I'm like thinking I want a pop punk tone, so I'll get that Invader sound out and like I'll get a high gain guitar amp. Like it's a sound and like I don't know. I don't think there's anything wrong with like idolizing like a genre, but like you don't have to be a fucking asshole.
No, and the other thing is not I idolize genres. I idolize fucking eras of pop punk. But there's other genres that I love as well. I don't think what I'm saying is people who think pop punk was like Real Friends was where music started. Because like for a minute, that's what started. Which now it's old news. That even at this point, that was 6 fucking years ago. But like,
did Real Friends break up or something?
They didn't break up, but they're like their singer left, and then COVID hit. So like, I don't know what they're doing. I don't know what you're gonna do with it
singer
without.
left.
Yeah, so I don't know what's gonna happen, but
That's wild. That guy was weird.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
yeah, I don't.
Real Friends. He was the best thing about that band.
He sounded like Kenny Vasoli.
Yeah, that's good.
But I don't know. Okay, so because we are running fucking in here, let's shoot over to Kyle. Fucking shoot your shit on us, dude. Shoot that load.
All right. So this one's more like super personal when it comes to like just playing music, but like I hear it all the time and I don't mind it, but I don't like it in mine. I hate reverb in my guitar tone.
I agree.
I
agree with that.
Reverb. The only time I ever want reverb is in anything that I play clean, and I hate hearing modulation when I want a distorted tone.
I agree with all of this. I agree with all of it. I have a JCM 900, and I love the reverb on the clean channel, but on dirty, I fucking turn it off. I turn the reverb off.
Yeah.
It depends on how much gain you're playing with, and it depends on what you're trying to do with. Roll your gain down a little bit, and add a little bit of reverb to it, and it's just like a large, like more trebly, less gain. It's just a larger rock sound. Try doing that with reverb, low gain, and play some open chords. That would actually sound good. That's what people use reverb with distortion.
I've experimented so much with it. And I hear it in songs that I listen to and I like, but I don't like it in my personal tone. Everything that I've done to try to make it work doesn't sound good out of what I'm playing. And I like the gear that I was using, and I wouldn't really change much at that time. It just wasn't a sound that sounded good with anything that I do. And I would mess around with it numerous times. And eventually I was just like, you know what? Reverb isn't my thing in my dirty tone. And I'm fine with that. And ever since I figured that out, everything I would do with my tone, I would keep the reverb down and I would love it.
There's tons of bands where I'm like that, where like I don't like if I try doing that tone for myself, I fucking hate it. Like it works for them, but I do not like it in my own. It's like they may use it, maybe it works for them. I always think of that with like the Smashing Pumpkins, like some of their early shit, like I love like Melancholy, but I'm like if I actually isolated the tones on there, none of that, I'd never want to sound like any of that. Like it's not a bass tone I want, it's not a guitar tone I want. It sounds good there in the context, but I would never want to sound like that.
That's how I feel about the Messenger's guitar tone.
The Menzingers?
I like it. Like I like the half step.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you there.
It just sounds too not good. Like I feel like they're trying to go for like a more cleaner rock sound, like almost like an awesome band called, if you guys don't know, this band's called Catfish and the Bottlemen. They are actually awesome.
Oh yeah, I've heard you talk about them before.
but it's just like a lighter, less gainy rock arena-ish sound, just large songs, almost like Angels and Airwaves, kind of like large kind of choruses. But like the Messengers, like I like their music a lot, don't get me wrong, I really do, but like their guitar tone, like if you isolate it, it just sounds not that great.
Yeah, and actually, I'm surprised I don't like it more because they have really good gear. Like they have a bunch of good
I'm
like
surprised,
tube amps
yeah.
and shit. Like they play,
Yeah.
they have really good equipment. But yeah, I don't love the tone either. It's not really something I strive for.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, like I've heard plenty of songs that like will do it and they do it great, and I love some of these songs. It's just in my personal tone and the songs that I play in or like I try to write, I don't put it in my dirty tone, and that's it.
Yeah.
Um,
What else you got on here, dude?
let's see. One thing we like dabbled in for like a millisecond, and this it's like a yay and nay for you, maybe, Anthony, because it does have to do with the radio, but radio music, but more importantly, pop music is still majorly important for every scene out there, because right now I feel like every song on the radio, no matter what station you're listening to, it's some form of pop music, whether it's pop rock, pop country, even like dad rock bands aren't fully dad rock anymore. They have like pop hooks and like the basic 4/4 like stuff. And that, I feel like that pop element in all radio music right now is extremely important. And as much as I hate this era of this particular musician, Machine Gun Kelly with his pop punk quote unquote record is super important for the genre, because it's getting young listeners that don't know the genre potentially into it and keeping the scene alive. So it may not be
I'm glad you said that.
I guess
think
it's a
he's
necessary
garbage
evil in some ways, because like I did listen to some of it. I'm like, it's so fucking bad. Like people are like, oh, I'm happy pop punk's on the radio again. I'm like, well, I would like good pop punk on the radio. I don't want just pop punk in general. Like, this sucks. Yeah, it's pop punk, but it's shitty.
I think he should have like wrote all the. He could have played guitar on it, whatever. But honestly, I know you guys probably don't like her that much, but I think Halsey should have just sang his whole album, because Travis Barker, Halsey singing, and Machine Gun Kelly like playing whatever fucking like Blink-182 ripoff chords he's playing. That it sounded fine with her singing, but not him, because he just doesn't have the right voice for it, because it's too low and he's still like talking. But like, I don't know. I wanted to say that earlier, and I'm really glad you said that, Kyle, because like,
wait 1 second, we lost Kyle again. Let me add him back.
Fuck.
Hold your thought, dude. Sorry, let me get
Okay.
Kyle back. I just realized he's gone.
about that.
God damn, dude. All right, we just all of a sudden realized you weren't there.
Yeah, no,
Okay,
you were
so
just talking
Kyle.
about. Yeah.
Yeah, so I was just saying, like, I'm really glad you said that about Machine Gun Kelly's album being so important in the pop punk scene, because, like, it really is. No matter how much, like, it is kind of a shitty album, like,
Tickets
Travis
to my downfall.
Barker's playing drums, and, like, there is high gain guitar, and, like twinkly, like, 3, like, note riffs that, like basically Simple Plan, Blink-182 ripoff shit. You know, like we've heard like the same 3 notes before, but Machine Gun Kelly's just doing it and like trying to bring it into like his like weird genre, because like he has so many like different fans than like what would be into pop punk. So
Yeah.
like all of his
he-
fans think he like invented this shit.
Yeah,
Like,
he's
they're-
doing it for a new.
That's sad.
He's doing it for a new crowd, and as much as I would like to be like an elitist, being like, no, we don't need him, blah blah blah, we kind of fucking do, because he might be the last like birth child of pop punk that's still doing something.
Oh, he's
that
not.
can
He's
make
not
it
gonna be the last one though, dude. You know that one guy like Tyler Posey from fucking Teen Wolf was like a huge
Who?
pop punk advocate. This guy from a lame ass TV show was like a huge advocate for pop punk and like turned a bunch of fans onto it through like his weird like boy band like TV show.
I guess I'm just talking about like what's happening right now because I don't know when Teen Wolf was a thing.
Like
but,
5 years ago, like not that long ago.
Okay, but yeah, like he's one of the few last remaining like people that are still keeping the scene alive. And maybe it's going to be for a different crowd, and these kids are going to find their own version of pop punk or whatever, and it's going to be something completely different that we grew up with. But it's the same thing with every generation and every movement of music, that it eventually evolves and changes. And, there's old timers that don't want to call like bands like Led Zeppelin and The Doors classic rock, but hey, old timers, they're classic rock now. We listen primarily to classic pop punk. That's our thing. So the new wave coming through eventually will become more and more classic and more ancient. We'll just have to accept that.
Yeah. I mean, that is the way of music. I mean, you are right. And I don't know, because my thing is that, like, yeah, sure, it exposes to a new crowd, but it's like, again, at what cost? It's like, 'cause it's like, this isn't good. So it's like, it also doesn't guarantee that they're going to, because here's the other thing. It's like, that works to a point, but it's like not everyone who listened to Blink-182 went and listened to Bad Religion or Screeching Weasel or like fucking, all or the Descendants or any of those other bands. Some people did, like I did. I'm sure you guys did, but like not everyone who heard all the small things went and discovered that. So my thing with Machine Gun Kelly is, to a degree, it's good for the genre, but just because that's selling well doesn't mean that all of a sudden, like Newfound Glory is going to start playing arenas, or like, pop punk bands are going to get too big.
No, I'm just talking about like the new generation that's coming after this, keeping the ideal of like the word pop punk around. It's happening through this guy, sure. Like, do I want him as this generation's representative? No, but it is what it is. And
dude, I think he's late to the game. Like, do you know who was repping like pop punk before he even died? Was that Juice WRLD kid? Like he said that like the All American Rejects was like his like inspiration for like his like shitty like rap album that like, and like that guy's like, that kid has passed away now, but I think we all know one shitty little dude with a trash stash in our town that is obsessed with Juice WRLD. I think we all do.
Yeah. I don't know who that is.
I've heard the name, but I do get what you're
That's
saying.
All I know.
The guy, the kids that like.
Yeah, I know enough to know what you're talking about. I'm like, yeah, I agree with you. Like, there's definitely a look to that, like, where you see someone and go like, yeah, you do listen to that. Like, that is your shit.
Yeah, but like, so he was a heavy advocate for pop punk before Machine Gun Kelly ever was. So like, and I know he played Warped Tour. Yeah, he played Warped Tour and like whatever, but he was never straight out like. I don't know, man.
Fuck.
Well, I heard in interviews that he was a fan. Like, he talked like years ago about listening to like punk rock and pop punk and emo bands because of the areas from like in like Ohio and shit. So like he knew the scene.
Okay, can I also say something else? If that dude's from Ohio, why the fuck does he sound English?
Because why does Billy Joe sound like he's from England?
Why does Tim Armstrong always sound like he's having a stroke?
Yeah.
What's fucked up? Okay. That's funny.
Yeah. Here's another one that's kind of like probably one of this is what I called my 1A and 1B with Pointless Vinyl. This was like my 1B as far as like the worst of the worst.
Uh-huh.
If you're wearing band merch from a band you don't listen to, I'm totally cool with that.
It irks me. I know it's not supposed to, but it does irk me. I will be honest.
Yeah. If you bought the fucking shirt, you put your money into the economy, fine. Yeah, dude, do whatever the fuck you want. Wear whatever the fuck you want. I think like there's that line, the Blink-182 song, "Piss them off with what you wear" or something. Yeah, dude, whatever. Like, I don't get mad about what other people wear, to be honest.
I don't know. It irks
Yeah.
me in a weird way. And once again, I know you're not supposed to, but I'm the same way. I would never buy something. I fucking remember years ago for Christmas, like my uncle bought me like a Pink Floyd shirt, and I returned it because I'm like, I don't fucking know. I could name 3 Pink Floyd songs. Like, I don't really know this band. Why would I fucking wear a shirt from a band? So, like, that's the other thing. Yeah. I don't get it because I wouldn't do it myself. You know what I mean? Like,
no,
I don't get why the fuck someone would wear a Misfits shirt who's never heard the Misfits, because I would never wear a fucking, like Wu-Tang Clan shirt without knowing a Wu-Tang Clan song. You know what I mean? Like, it just makes
absolutely
zero sense to me in that way.
Yeah. And it doesn't make a lot of sense, but like the way I see it, and the perfect example is like Misfits. Like I saw hundreds of people wearing Misfits shirt that never knew what they were wearing,
which is the weirdest thing to me.
Yeah. But in my head, what I see that as is a band has transcended their music to the point where they can be recognized as a visual icon before even being known about their music. And that is something that's really cool.
From a marketing standpoint, it's amazing. I mean, really, like when it comes down to it, like the people, it's only fans who get pissed off at that. The Misfits love that people just buy that shirt. They don't give a shit if you know who they are. Like, they're making the money either way. Like, they don't give 2 fucks if you know who they are. From a marketing standpoint, it's fucking great.
Yeah, like the Nirvana smiley.
Yeah, like shit like that. That's another one. Like, people never listen to them.
Yeah, it's those shirts you can buy at Walmart or Target, and yeah, it's like a Nirvana smiley face, or it just says Nirvana across the chest with the kid in the pool. Like, it's the band itself has gotten to a point in their career where they can just be marketed as an image, which again, that's kind of dumb for some people, but it's whatever. I used to get more offended when kids would be wearing like Thrasher magazine, like skateboard shirts.
Oh, they still do.
Do you even skateboard? Yeah.
No, Thrasher's cool, bro.
And like,
I have Thrasher shirts. Don't hate on me. I like skateboarding though.
Well, I've seen you on a skateboard.
Yeah, but I like skateboarding.
Well, then he's not talking about you. Don't get defensive. He ain't talking about you.
Thrasher magazine is my life.
Yeah, don't get fucking defensive. He's not talking about you.
Yeah, no.
Damn.
Like, I'm just saying, like, I used to get pissed off at shit like that because I was a skateboarder and, like, you know, you're wearing a skateboard shirt and you don't skate, bro. Like, I felt like I was, like, an elitist asshole trying to, like, gatekeep the scene. And it was just, you know, it's just a thing that got popular or whatever. Like, I wore a hoodie once because a friend left this in my car, and I was like, oh, I need a hoodie. I'm cold. Oh, I'll wear this hoodie. It was this crazy metal band. I think they were like a French-Canadian band. I think they were called like Despised Icon. Something really fucking crazy and heavy. I had no idea who they wore, but I wore the hoodie, and it just looked cool. And I was like, whatever, like, no big fucking deal. No one came to me being like, hey, name me 2 Despised Icon songs. You know, I would never go to someone at like, at like a Target who's wearing a Blink shirt being like, hey, what's your favorite Blink-182 song? I'll just see that shirt and be like, hey, cool shirt, man. And that's the extent of the conversation. I won't go past that. Now, if I say like, hey, cool shirt, man, and they go, yeah, did you see them somewhere? I'm like, then we can have a conversation, but I'm not trying to test you if you're wearing, you know, a Descendants shirt, and I'm like, hey, so do you know who Milo is? You know, I'm not going to test them. I'm just gonna be like, hey, man, cool shirt.
Well, let me add too. Even though I said earlier, like, it irks me, I've never in my life went like that. I don't understand. I would never go up to someone. Like, yes, it would annoy me, but I've never went up to someone and go like, name 3 fucking songs. Like, yeah, I can never imagine doing that. Like, that's just being an asshole. Like, that's why I don't know if there's anything wrong with being annoyed with people wearing like a Ramones shirt who's never heard the Ramones. It's bad if you go up and start annoying them and asking them fucking trivia questions. That's where it gets fucking to where you're an asshole. That's where it's shitty.
Yeah.
If you act upon things like that.
looking at it from the other side, though, so, like, take this, like, 50-year-old woman that knows nothing about punk rock, and I have the Bad Religion, like, Crossbusters shirt, and they just think I'm, like, a Satanist.
Yeah,
because
this has
they're like,
happened
oh
to me
my
before.
God. They're like, oh my God, do you hate Jesus? Like, or like they literally, I've gotten like even comments like a cross with like it crossed out. Like, what is that? And I'm like, it's a literal band and they're awesome. You should check it out.
Oh, I used
But,
to
like,
walk around in a Bad Religion hoodie and a handgun shirt, and I never thought about it. And then after a while, it's like, yeah, I look like a tryhard. Like, I didn't even mean to, but it's like, Jesus Christ, like I'm walking around with a big old crossed out
you look
cross.
like you're about to shoot up a mall.
Basically, yes. Basically, it's like school shooter apparel, and I didn't even mean to. It's like just big old, just says handgun. Because you forget too, no one knows who the fuck Handguns is. Like, no one knows
Exactly.
these are bands. Like a handful of people know what that is. Everyone else is like, is this guy gonna shoot up the school? Like, yeah, like totally. Like, just really, it's like I look back and go like, oh my God.
Dude, I still have a Bad Religion t-shirt that I wear on the regular though.
Oh no, I still wear Bad Religion shirts, but I don't wear them with fucking. Also though, now I also don't do that. Like, you cannot wear like a band shirt, a band hoodie, and then like a band hat or like even like shorts with band shit. You can't
Super
do that.
fan.
Yeah, you need to wear, because I used to do that. I will admit, I'm sure there were a few times where I had
Yeah.
like fucking shorts with a band logo, a t-shirt with a band logo, and like a hat with a band logo. It's like, no more. You can't do that. That's too much.
Yeah.
It used to get to the point at these local shows that I would go to where, like, say, like, for example, like one of my favorite bands, City Lights or Carousel Kings, like, they'd play a show and then you wear one of their shirts to the show and people like make fun of you for wearing a shirt to a band that you're seeing. Like, whether they're a small local band or like a touring.
Well, that's fucking
or like
dumb.
an
Like,
arena
who
band.
cares?
I thought it was the stupidest thing. Like, does it really matter?
Yeah, that's just dumb.
Yeah. So I just want to quickly get my last two out.
Cool.
Yeah. And one, I don't think you guys might have much of an opinion on, except for like a yes or a no. The song The Kill by 30 Seconds to Mars and Mr. Brightside from The Killers have nothing to do with the emo culture by any means, besides that their vocalists wear eyeliner.
I don't know. They're both pretty. I would say, though, The Killers I never think of. Sometimes people lump them in there. I don't ever think of them as an emo band. They just are like an alternative.
Never. They're
band.
indie.
Yeah, they're like
indie to
an indie
me.
rock
But
band.
they get played at all the fucking emo night.
Yeah, I
like,
don't understand
punk emo
that.
night, bar band night, and like bands in the scene cover that song constantly.
But you know what, though? Can I say there's a band like that for every decade? Because you know who else is like that? Third Eye Blind. They're not a pop punk band, but pop punk bands cover them. They get played at like pop punk night and emo night and shit. Like, there's this weird crossover where like emo kids and shit love that first Third Eye Blind record. It's just
my
this
favorite
weird
album.
It's a great.
One of my favorite albums.
I love that record, but what I'm saying is, it gets this weird attachment to a scene that it's not really a part of. If you know what I mean, like
Yeah.
it's loved in a different corner.
They adopted it. It's
Yeah.
been adopted.
Yes. Yeah. That's a great. There you are. You do it every time. You say it more gracefully than I can.
Yeah, and then the last one I have isn't really controversial in my opinion. I think it's just a matter of time, and I think it might be something we all agree on. Weird Al Yankovic needs to be in the goddamn Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Oh, totally. No, I don't really listen to him anymore, to be honest, but there was years of my life, not even a year, there were years of my life where that man was my favorite artist. I mean, still, like, probably one of my most listened to artists from how much I was listening to him in my younger years. Like, and he is a genius. I mean, just because I don't really listen to him anymore, he's still funny and still a very, deserves all the accolades and credit. So no, I agree with you 100%.
I feel like he should win an. Oh, my bad. I feel like Weird Al should win an award for like what comedians win awards for, but like I don't think he should win an award for his music.
They
like I think he's funny.
Oh, you don't
like,
but you don't look at it as credible or as legit, like as a from a musical standpoint.
No, but he's funny. I think he should win an award for like he should win a Nobel Peace Prize, whatever he wants to win. But like he shouldn't be accredited for the music because I don't think the music because it's not his.
Yeah, but
one.
also all these songs are approved by the artist, and Michael Jackson has been even stated to say that Weird Al is one of his favorite artists.
Oh yeah, no,
yeah,
he
but
was
do you just like go and like I need to go listen to Eat It, or do you go I'm gonna go listen to Beat It? You probably go listen to Beat It, not Eat It.
Well, see, that's my thing is like Weird Al, even though I still appreciate him, I don't actively listen to him like I did when I was like 12 or 13. Like when I was like 11 or 12, I fucking loved it and listened to it constantly.
And he's funny.
And he is.
He's funny.
He's very funny.
He should be awarded for that, but not for his music.
I don't know. I think he should be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, though. What he's saying, I agree with. I don't think that he should get a Grammy for Songwriter of the Year. But I do think like Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, I would definitely agree with that. I think he should.
Yeah.
He should be acknowledged in the degree of that.
Yeah, he should be acknowledged, but like I don't know, it's just like the music. He's totally funny and should be awarded for being funny.
We get it. You hate Weird Al. We get it. All right, let's get. We fucking don't know how to do a short podcast. We're already 3.5 hours in, so I'm gonna fucking shit through mine real quick. Let me see. Let me get back here and see what we never hit. What do I have? John Feldman is only a good producer for new bands. I think he's an amazing producer if you're a new band, but not just Blink, but just about any other band he's worked with who is an older band who already had an established sound. He's not good. He fucks them up, tries to rehash what made them popular before. Good producer if you're new. He helps you find your sound, but if you already have a sound, stay the fuck away from him. Anything on that?
I wouldn't say he fucks them up. I wouldn't say he fucks them up, but yeah, he takes basically best ofs and then just tries to recreate it. But I don't think he's bad for the scene and like bad for that. But yeah, for older bands, and if you want to sound, if you want to stay true to a sound that you like, don't go to him.
And most of the time, he produces newer bands. If you look, most of the time, and most of the shit he's known for is newer bands, but you need to be with him.
There's a band locally that I think he helps.
Like album 1 or 2 is when you need to get in with him, not album 4 or 5. That's not when you start working with John Feldman. Zach, what were you gonna say?
I will say that it's funny that you said that because like I can't remember which band. I'll have to get back to you. Like look at everything that John Feldman's ever produced or mixed. But it was a band that had been out for a while, and it was like one of their like middle albums in their catalog. And like I was like looking at the credits because like sometimes I do that with albums I really like, and I was like, John Feldman mixed this or something. Like I was like, really? Like I was like, I like this album though,
Shit.
Like it didn't. So I'm gonna have to figure out which album that is.
Yeah.
Because I think that like this album that I'm trying to think of might be that one album to like break that claim.
Fuck.
Yeah, I know. I'm gonna figure this out.
Yeah,
like, when we get off the phone. I'm gonna get on Wikipedia.
Yeah, you have to fucking let us know what that is. I'm interested.
Yeah, I will.
So another one I have, and Kyle I know agrees with this because this was one opinion that we both talked about right away when we were thinking about doing this episode. I hate Death Cab for Cutie. I do not like Death Cab for Cutie in any way, shape, or form. But the Postal Service is fucking great. That one record, Give Up, really, really good record. Besides that, not a fan at all. And another one that is connected like that, I hate the band Wilco, but the band Uncle Tupelo, which is once again a side project by the frontman of the band. Wilco is like such a big like indie rock alt country band, and just, huge cult status, Chicago band. I can't stand them, but that side project there is pretty good. And same with Death Cab for Cutie. I can't stand that band, but the Postal Service, I mean, probably because it's just less pretentious. Like I listen to Death Cab for Cutie, and it's this pretentious indie rock, and I just feel like with the Postal Service, it's just kind of a fun record.
The Postal Service, that band that opens that song, and it kind of has like that synth kind of like weird.
Yeah, going back and forth like that. Like it just, those real short staccato, like, that's them.
Okay.
That's such
that
great
sounds
heights.
Not bad.
Yeah, it's very. It doesn't sound like Death Cab for Cutie. It's just really fun kind of techno pop.
Yeah, Death Cab for Cutie. I can honestly say that Follow Me Into the Dark, like whatever, like that song's super like playing into like feeling like I don't like to listen to a lot of sad boy shit because it's like why would you want to listen to music to make you feel like sorry for yourself? I don't know.
I'm guilty of that. I find myself doing that though sometimes. I'll even sometimes look at playlists for the radio show and go, God damn, like some of these songs are really depressing. Fuck.
I don't know. I try to listen to like shit that lifts you up. Like I don't want to listen to shit that brings me down.
Well, that's what you should do.
Yeah. But I don't know. I've never gotten into Death Cab for Cutie because just their whole like aesthetic of I feel sorry for myself.
No, it's cheesy shit.
I don't. That aesthetic makes me not want to listen to them, and I haven't because of that.
Kyle, I mean, what do you have anything to add for your reasoning, right? Because you don't really like Death Cab for Cutie at all.
Yeah, no, it's literally kind of all the exact same things you guys just said. I don't know. It seems like all Death Cab for Cutie songs just have an aesthetic to it, but I can listen to a song to make me or a record to make me want to feel sad or upset. And yeah, that's not the best thing to do, for someone's mental health by any means. But sometimes you just need to feel like you're on the same level as someone. And like I said with the Boxcar Racer one, that's an album I can listen to no matter what my mood is, and that record can match my mood. I can be happy, listen to it. Sad, listen to it, no matter what.
Yeah.
And with Death Cab for Cutie, it's just I don't feel anything besides down.
Yeah, it's all sad.
And where Death Cab or with Postal Service, there's more. It's all in all, it's a pretty downer record, but just the music and the electronics to it just sounds so cool.
Yeah.
That I can't always just be down listening to it because there's certain things that are just so dynamic and different from Death Cab that it puts a smile on my face.
No, I totally agree with that. And it's a really good album. And it kind of also goes with when we were doing Boxcar Racer. It's a band who just kind of did a one and done. It's here's our album and that's it, which is all they really needed. But going on, All Time Low has aged very poorly and is kind of cringy now. And here's the thing. The first time I heard I did not like All Time Low for years. And then around Dirty Work, I kind of turned around and became a fan for probably I don't know, maybe even a good 5 or 6 years. And then all of a sudden just went back to my original thought. And I'm like, this band sucks. And I feel like people who still defend them, it's more from nostalgia's sake. I don't think that even the old stuff, and I'm talking about the old stuff, I don't think it aged that well. Even in when I'm in the mood for old pop punk, I can't listen to All Time Low anymore. It's just not good. I mean, how do you guys feel?
I can listen to it. I can listen to old All Time Low, but I got to be in a very specific mood for it. And yeah, same thing. When they first came out, I was so anti All Time Low just because it was what everyone thought. Oh, they're a corny Blink ripoff band, blah. But I kind of turned around on them more because of the fact that once I started listening to them and hearing other songs, I'm okay, they're not just these corny young kids. They actually have some good tunes. And how I see how I saw All Time Low back then is I feel like how I'm looking at Machine Gun Kelly right now. Because when All Time Low came out, I was like, this is garbage. This is going to destroy the scene, blah, blah, blah. But they were kind of like the beginning of like the new era when I thought the scene was pretty much over and done with. And they helped kind of revive a younger generation. And out of that, some other bands came out, and I ended up finding other bands through getting introduced to All Time Low, like, Man Overboard, The Story So Far, even Neck Deep, bands along that era, like All Time Low allowed me to get introduced to that stuff because they were young, new, and fresh at that time.
I kind of agree, but like I feel like going back to our episode where we talk shit about Neon, like I feel like they did a thing for pop punk, but I don't know that it was a thing that I liked because I feel like they were ones who kind of brought it into that more Neon era that really did not age well at all.
No, not at all. I'm just saying that because of them, it allowed me to find other bands that were considered new.
Oh, okay.
If I never considered listening to All Time Low and I just stopped, everything that I would have liked musically would have just stopped at basically 2008 and 2009.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying.
And never cared to check anything out after that. So they at least helped me continue to listen to music that was new for a couple more years.
That makes sense. And actually but before we move on, I think we lost Zach. So let me.
No, I'm right here.
Oh, wait. Why did my phone? Sorry, dude. My phone doesn't have your name on it anymore. That's weird.
Oh, well, so I was going to say, So Wrong It's Right is actually a great pop punk album, Shameless. And I don't know if it's because I associate it with the time in my life, but it's almost just so poppy that if you do listen to it in a downer time, it does this weird thing where I try not to listen to downer music when I'm down. So when you're listening, even what's the one? Nothing Personal. That album is even super poppy. And
wait, can I say something too real quick? I earlier said Dirty Work, and I want to take that back. I was talking about I got into them on Nothing Personal because Dirty Work is one of the shittiest albums I've ever heard in my life. So I want to retract that. I meant to say I'm sorry, Zach, for interrupting you, but you said Nothing Personal and made me realize my error. I meant Nothing Personal. Dirty Work is one of the shittiest things I've ever heard.
But listening to something so poppy like Nothing Personal and a downer time in someone's life, it almost offsets that feeling. It's just you're listening what's Keep the Change You Filthy Animal is a really good song, and just they're all really poppy though. Damned If I Do Ya. That song's super poppy. Weightless, but
it is a very poppy album.
It's all poppy. Stella, Lost in Stereo,
oh God, I hate Lost in Stereo. That's the worst song I've never liked. Even when I liked All Time Low, that song was always cringy to me.
Dude, yeah, but I don't know. I listen to albums all the way through, so I hear it. So, but I don't know, man. It's just it's weird. They're really poppy, and there's definitely songs they just released a song with Demi Lovato, and I will never listen to it because it already sounds fucking terrible.
Yeah, that doesn't sound appealing at all.
Don't Panic was a 2012 release, and that album's actually kind of they tried to make that just don't listen to the deluxe version. Don't listen to anything extended what they tried to do with that, and they made it worse. If you listen to the 12-track original release of that album, I feel that's where they should have went after So Wrong It's Right. It's more or less trying to be a straight-up pop-punk album without weird pop band elements.
Yeah, they pulled a Newfound Glory. They went really different, like Newfound Glory did with Coming Home. And when people didn't like Dirty Work, they went back to what people liked. They doubled down and went back to their original sound. Like, oh, you guys don't like that? Okay, we'll go back and fucking do the thing you guys all like.
Yeah, but that was cool. Like, in 2012, when I was in high school, I was like, it was cool when like just a newer band just drops a pop punk album. It was cool. Like Machine Gun Kelly, I guess, just did that now. So it's like
MGK.
It is cool when like these bands are dropping new stuff. Like it's like allowing artists to keep putting pop punk out. You know, it's cool. I want it to keep living.
I don't know. I mean, we're almost fucking at 4 hours, so I won't go down that fucking that. Yeah. No, we have to fucking wrap this up here. I'm gonna give 2 more, and we'll shut the fuck up, and we'll do little plugs. And Zach, like you can plug like Kickstart and stuff, but like,
hell yeah.
Fucking. I don't totally agree. Both of you have brought this up with Machine Gun Kelly and All Time Low and shit of how it's good for the scene. And there's always bands that do that. I mean, people were having this conversation with Green Day at one point. Fucking 27 years ago, people were having this conversation if Dookie was good for the scene or not. You know, so like we're far from the first Puds to have this. Yeah, and yeah, another one, good example. But like I don't always agree with that because you're also commercializing something in a way where it goes, once again, it's like pop punk, even though I don't know it was super mainstream during Neon, because really in a lot of ways it failed during Neon, because I don't think it ever got as big as it was supposed to. Like even bands that did kind of became one-hit wonders, and it just became such a fad in the scene and very embarrassing. But like there's eras that did very well commercially, but it just naturally. But I think when it's forced like that, it's like, yeah, okay, there's a couple gold records and shit, but it's like this music's terrible. It attracts shit. Because that's the other thing. It can attract shitheads. Like I always say this. I love Blink-182, but Blink-182 is such a big band that just because someone else likes Blink, it doesn't mean I'm going to get along with them. There's certain bands where you'll automatically get along. Like I love, like if I meet someone who loves the Replacements, I 9 times out of 10 get along with them because it's more of a specific thing. We end up liking more specific bands. Blink's is too general, where there's people who like it who like just totally different shit. Like they may love they may love Blink-182 and A Day to Remember, and I fucking hate A Day to Remember. So it's like, you know what I mean? Like it's just very. Like, I don't think it's always great just because something's big. I don't know that that's always the best thing for a scene. But I gotta leave it. Like, I gotta leave it at that. But go say your shit, and I'll shut the fuck up.
No, all I want to say is that sometimes that's like not good, but there's so many great things that have spawned from like these bands that are like, oh, is this what's good for the scene? Or like Blink-182 is not a punk band. Why are they called a punk band? Blah, blah, blah. But then all the bands that like have helped come after them, like there's so many bands that we probably still listen to this day that were initially spawned from the popularity of Blink-182, and like bands like All Time Low, where I thought like, oh, this is killing the scene at the time. But then I realized they helped me get introduced to other bands that I thought were far better. So if Machine Gun Kelly right now is bringing it to the limelight, maybe not the best poster child, but there might be good artists that spawn from it, from the young kids that are listening to it, being like, hey, he's doing this, let's do this, and maybe they make it better. And maybe there's a nostalgia, or maybe they bring some sort of hardcore element to it. Who knows? But sometimes the poster child isn't the poster child you want, but sometimes what spawns from it is so much better.
Okay, fair enough. I see where you're coming from, but I
agree.
I'll throw 2 more out here just real quick. My Chemical Romance, very overrated. I'm not saying they're not good. I'm not saying they're a shitty band, but the fact that they play arenas, or the fact that like they grew when they broke up. There's just so many other bands from that scene and that era. Like even Thursday. like Thursday should be playing the fucking, like, I think the size of those. Or even like Taking Back Sunday, who, don't get me wrong, are big, but even they should probably still be playing like arenas compared to like My Chemical Romance is just nothing special. Like, I don't like the Black Parade, once again, not a bad album, but not this like amazing important rock opera or anything like that. It's like, yeah, it was a good like emo pop punk record from like 2007. Like, just so was AFI's December Underground. Like, they're not masterpieces. They're just good like records from that era, you know? So like, I don't know. That's my view on it. I don't know how you guys feel about them. I don't hate My Chemical Romance, but I'm just like, I don't understand this legacy they have.
I mean, people could say the same thing about Blink.
Oh, of course, yeah.
I guess, but I would argue more that they had a bigger cultural impact, though. I think Blink.
I actually don't know, man. People could argue that.
I don't know if there's an argument. Like, and don't get me wrong, I think My Chemical Romance did have a cultural impact, but for a much shorter amount of time.
I feel like I've seen more kids in like Black Parade shirts than I ever have Blink shirts. But
that's also age, because in 1999 that may not have been the case. You know what I mean? Like, I think there may have been. I think that might even be a timeline kind of thing, because there was probably a time where you would see more Blink shirts.
Yeah.
You know, but that's my one, and then one more that I will leave this with. And I don't know how you guys feel, because I don't know that you even gave a shit about his solo stuff. But Patrick Stump's solo shit, his soul punk record and the EP that he did, is 100 times better than anything Fall Out Boy's done since they've gotten back together. This is kind of goes back to the Plus 44 thing. I would in a perfect musical world, Fall Out Boy would still be broken up, and Patrick Stump would be doing his solo shit, because I don't give a shit about any of the music they're playing, and I'm not going to go see them live, so I don't even give a shit if they play, like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to go see them anyway live, so I don't give a shit if they play old stuff live. So it's like, I would rather Patrick Stump do his pop shit, because it was 100 times better. Like, I mean, and I don't know, did either of you really listen to his stuff? Did either of you really give a shit about his solo album? Like, I still think it's extremely underrated. Like, and people hated it apparently because it almost destroyed his career, and he got really sad there for a minute. But like, I actually thought it was really fucking good.
Has This City on it?
It is, and you know what?
That song is fucking trash.
Well, okay, I was gonna say that's not the best song.
No, that's not. That is your most unpopular opinion of the episode. You're defending this album? No, dude, that song. Like, I was like, is that this album? No, that song is awful. That's the worst song Patrick Stump's ever written.
Found the fucking kryptonite, dude. Okay, listen. That's not the best song. That's not the best song on the album. Let me just say, it is not the best song on the record. Probably a reason why that album tanked is because that was a single. You are right. That is not a very good song. You know what, though? To be fair, I still like that song probably more than a lot of newer Fall Out Boy songs. I think the other thing is because Patrick Stump was never a solo artist before. So when he did pop music, that's what Patrick Stump sounds like solo. Whereas Fall Out Boy, they changed their sound altogether. I don't mind Patrick Stump doing pop music because that's what Patrick Stump does solo. I don't like it when Fall Out Boy does pop music because that's not fucking Fall Out Boy. But
yeah, I agree.
But yeah, Kyle,
This
I mean,
City, you fucking love that song.
Kyle, you don't really give a shit about Fall Out Boy post like Cork Tree, right?
No, like, I liked Fall Out Boy. They broke up. I kind of forgot about him. And when he did the solo stuff, like, I heard a couple tracks. Like, I heard This City and I heard a couple other things. And all in all, I liked it. I just never checked out the album. But even from not checking out the album, I can say without a shadow of a doubt that solo album is probably a million times better than anything they've done once they got back together.
Yes, it is. It really, and look at Zach, you're 100% right. I didn't even think of that as it was coming out of my mouth, how great the record is. Not a good. Again, though, his solo album tanked. Maybe that's part of the reason why. But there are some legit.
Definitely that song is why.
And the thing is the album is really basically him trying to be Michael Jackson, but it really, he has such a good vocal range and just such good pipes that it really showcases his vocals probably better than Fall Out Boy does. Because he really does just go for it. Like, there are songs that are just really soul songs. There's just straight up Michael Jackson-esque, like, synthy pop songs. Like, he just, like, things where he utilizes his voice in ways that he doesn't get to do in Fall Out Boy. And, like, I would have liked to see him do that more, honestly. Like, I would have rather him go that route as a pop star than Fall Out Boy just shit on their legacy and sing about Uma Thurman and whatever terrible fucking – and sample the Munsters.
Yeah, I genuinely believe, and I've told people this, that if Fall Out Boy never got back together and Patrick Stump continued to do solo work, he would have become probably what Brendan Urie is right now and how big they are in pop music. That's where I see Patrick Stump where he would have been, where he would have been all over the fucking radios at this point. And basically, basically Brendan Urie and Ed Sheeran would have been an afterthought.
Here's the sad thing about that. I don't think so, because they tried their damnedest with Soul Punk. Because even though it wasn't a big album, he played so many radio shows and festivals. They did try to push that on radio. The problem is everyone knew him as Patrick Stump from Fall Out Boy. So he never really had a chance. I don't think there was ever, there was just such a failure on the first album and people not liking his own fan base. Like, really, what I'm saying is his own fan base is a reason why this could never happen. His own fan base didn't want that to happen.
I don't know. See, I feel like he would have found a new fan base with, like, top 40 pop radio.
I don't know, because we knew him for so long. I think the problem is Fall Out Boy was so big for so long. It's the same thing with Tom DeLonge, though. Tom DeLonge, no matter how hard he tries with anything else, he's never going to not be Tom DeLonge at Blink-182. Even for the space shit. Even for that, though, dude, unless he really uncovers something so huge that he's, like, in history books, most people are going to know him as the Blink-182 guy. Like, even if he wants to be a serious artist or a business, same with a businessman. How many business fucking ventures has he done? And it's like, do you think of him as the owner of Mod Life? Is that what you think of when you think of? Yeah, like, you don't really think of that when you think of Tom DeLonge. Yeah, so, like, I think Patrick Stump of Fall Out Boy for too long for it to ever happen, to be completely honest. And I don't agree with it. I would have loved for him to be that, and I'm surprised that Brendan Urie has been able to shake that really and become what he has been. And you know what? As much as I don't like it, good for him for being able to do it.
Though. Brendan Urie writes the songs for Panic at the Disco.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
Patrick only writes the music. Pete writes all the lyrics to all the Fall Out Boy songs.
Pete's a great lyricist. You definitely got to give him that.
Yeah, he's to this day, even on the new stuff, the radio stuff, Pete writes all the lyrics.
Yeah, no, I thought so. I thought he's one where if he was gone, they'd be fucked. I don't think it would. Yeah. It would change. It would change. The whole dynamic would change. But
just like Newfound Glory.
Yeah, exactly. But we gotta fucking shut this shit down. I mean, we're almost at 4 hours. But I mean, Kyle, I don't know if you have anything, but this is now our little fucking place. Zach, if you want to start, I actually brought up on the Boxcar Racer one. I said you just kind of re-released your EP and shit. But yeah, if you want to plug now your shit you're doing at Kickstart and everything, and fucking do it here.
I want to release the new songs that I'm writing right now. I think are the best that I've ever written, and I would like ideally to get a summer release for these next year. But I've never had my back catalog, like my debut EP called Subdue. I started recording it in 2013 and released it in January of 2015. It was like a whole process, and it was like a annoying struggle, but it never got an official release on like a platform that people actually listen to. I think it only like lived on Bandcamp and SoundCloud for like 6 years. So now I'm finally giving it an appropriate release. It's rough. It's definitely a punk album. It's a high school band punk album. It's rough, but there are parts that make me proud. It's a good album in its own right. But I'm just happy to give it an official release, and it will be on Spotify on January 1st, 2021. And that's all I have.
And it's on Bandcamp now, right?
Yeah, but it'll just be cool. Just wait till Spotify. Look up Kickstart Subdue on January 1st, 2021, and that will be my album. It will actually be on like Apple Music and Tidal and whatever you listen to. Also, YouTube Music, dude. Apparently, they said they're gonna put it on TikTok. Hopefully, kids dance to my shitty music.
There you go, dude. That's fucking how you make it. That's some cool shit.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
So, yeah, January 1st.
Fuck yeah, check that out. And as always, at Power Chord Hour on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. We're on YouTube. We're on Spotify. Got playlists up there to go check out. New radio shows every Friday night, 10 Eastern to midnight on 107.9 WRFA. New podcast every Monday. And I got Power Chord Hour t-shirts. If you go rate and review us on iTunes, send me a screenshot. I will send you a free t-shirt. We also have Power Chord Hour stickers, and those are just free. You don't even have to like rate and review shit. Just hit me up, powerchordhour@gmail.com. I'll send you stickers. And yeah, so that is it. So until next week for the Power Chord Hour, I'm Anthony Merchant. And thank you so much, Zach and Kyle, for doing this. And thanks for listening.